Hi everyone, and welcome to the last episode of my blog from Canada and the USA part 2. So start off this week at Edmonton. So what we're looking at here is the Edmonton Waste Management Centre, so a 230 hectare site that carries a huge range of recycling activities, so composting, sorting of recyclables, now getting into biofuels, anaerobic digestion, construction waste, e-waste, power generation, and also looking at biofuel refinery from plastic. Quite remarkably, this site here receives non-source separated waste, so everything is mixed together and has to be hand sorted and processed. They take waste from around 1 million people and producing reasonable quality compost. It's also mixed and composted with sludges from wastewater treatment, but their biggest problem is that they have contamination of glass and plastic because of the issues of everything coming in mixed together. So you can see here they have hand collection, unbelievably. So someone throws a garbage bag into the back of a truck, so they don't even have automated collection. A lot of people hand sorting, so not a wonderful job. They then mix with biosolids, they dewater, they have a mixture of programs there. They compost both inside and out. They've got a massive inside composting plant, and they put compost outside to cure and have a mixture of aerated composting as well. So quite a wide variety of activities. So you can see here what's sorted and shredded at the end of it, then goes into generation of power. So moved on, and this photo here is from just close to Calgary, and this is food waste. So food waste is becoming a big issue for Canada. So these guys are depackaging food, and the product that comes out of the end of this is very liquid, a bit like porridge. 90% of that's recovered, so only 10% of that waste ends up in landfill. 90% of it is recovered, goes into composting with a range of products. So I saw this being mixed with brewers waste, green waste, some cattle manure, and the product that came out of the end was going into a bag product, and they were bagging around 5 million bags for Scott's, so a garden lawn company. This business was also taking some residual mining nutrient byproduct and mixing it with compost, turning it into a high value compost and carting at a large distance because it had significant value as a fertiliser. So quite interesting. Then moved on to states, so starting up the top of the west coast of the USA. This here is in Seattle, very high environmental standards on the west coast. So this here is a food waste harvester, so everyone at the market put their waste in this machine, turned out energy and compost. So very interesting. As I said, high environmental standards, but a lot of the businesses on the west coast were also fighting lots of red tape in regulation and finding it very difficult to conduct composting and recycling activities. So moved on to California, and this picture here is from an amazing business called Terra Nova Farms in the San Joaquin Valley. 7,000 acres growing, I think they grow 26 different crops, everything from vegetables right through to tree nuts, seeds, just absolutely everything you can think of in an incredible climate. They're farming both organically and conventionally, getting very similar yields, and the fuel, the nutrient source for all of this is compost and manure. So Terra Nova, at the time I was there, were harvesting tomatoes, harvesting 120 tonnes of tomatoes per hectare, solely off compost and manure. So other things that Terra Nova had done was investing very heavily in renewables. So they'd put in about 2 acres of solar panels. It's got the capacity to generate around 2 million kilowatts of energy per annum. So this is a live dashboard of what their system is doing. No government support apart from tax breaks to do this. They're working on a price of about 10 cents per kilowatt to replace their own power requirements, so they're not putting any into the grid at all, and they're looking at a 6-year payback for a $2 million investment. Water's the other massive issue in California, as a lot of people would know. competing agriculture against urban, and they're in a terrible drought. They've got little water regulation. When the surface water runs out, they just drill holes in the ground, and they've got these massive water supply infrastructure which are open channels, so they have lots of evaporation. You'll see here this is a reservoir in California, down to historically low levels. They're at the end of a 4-year of drought and struggling with regulation. No one wants to give any water back. Makes Australia's water reform look quite advanced. And this is another thing you see in California. So this is at a place called Harris Ranch. So this is a beef feedlot / restaurant, 100,000 cattle in the middle of the San Joaquin Valley. You can come and eat your steak and charge your Tesla electric car at the same time. So it's the end of my journey. So I've had a fantastic time. Thanks to all the people that have enabled it to happen. So particularly the Churchill Memorial Trust, to my family and to my work. And I look forward to talking to you all a little bit more about my travels and what I found when I return home.